Okay, 8th grade, so we are in our writing packet today. Before we get into this too much, I just want to let everybody know that we do have school on Monday next week. We have been doing Tuesday through Friday, but next week we do have school on Monday and Tuesday only, and then we're done for the summer. So we do have to go to school on Monday and Tuesday. Well, not go to school, but watch our videos on Monday and Tuesday of next week. But then we'll be completely done for the rest of the summer. So just make sure that you guys do log on and do your work on Monday. So let's get started here. We're in the writing packet, like I said, on page 28. So we're starting with a journal entry just like we always do. So today your journal entry asks you, what makes a good friend? Describe the most important traits of a friend using examples to support your opinion. So you need to use 5 to 7 sentences, which is one paragraph. You can do more than that, but you need to have at least that much to tell me what makes a friend a good friend, okay? And you're going to describe the important qualities that they have and use examples maybe from your personal friendships to support that opinion, okay? So let's take a look at page 29. So today we're going to be talking about using a dictionary or a glossary. So it says part 2. I don't know why it says that because this is the first thing we've talked about with that. This should be review, hopefully. This is really one of the least complex topics we've talked about so far. So hopefully this is a pretty easy day for us today. So it says, many words have multiple definitions and more than one part of speech. So what's a part of speech? A noun, verb, adjective, adverb, that sort of thing. Okay, so it's just the type of word that it is. So when you're reading or writing, use a dictionary to check the precise meaning of words. So we've talked about context clues a lot, but this is looking for the exact definition in a dictionary. So a dictionary lists words in alphabetical order. Each entry includes the pronunciation, the part of speech, and the meaning of the word. So if you look up in a traditional dictionary, I know a lot of us just like Google the definitions of words nowadays or look on dictionary.com or something, but if you're using a book dictionary, everything's in alphabetical order. So CA would be before a word that started with CO, right? Because you go with the first letter and then you start with the second letter, then the third letter, fourth letter, fifth letter, all in alphabetical order, okay? So if you look at this word here, it says pronunciations are in parentheses. A stress mark shows which syllable to stress. Pronunciations are often depending on the part of speech. So it's convert. So we're enunciating that T, convert. Okay? So that's why it has that apostrophe there, or a stress mark. So right here, it's the abbreviation, so the part of speech. So V stands for verb, N stands for noun. ADJ stands for adjective, that sort of thing. So here we can see convert is a verb. The definition, there's more than one definition to these words, right? So the first definition is to change the use or function of something. Then here we see this sample sentence clarifies the first meaning of the word. So Rigo converted the railway car into a restaurant. So he changed the railway car into a restaurant. He converted it. 2 is to change one thing for something of equal value, or 3, to change one's beliefs. And then there's convert, which you can see it's convert, and convert is a noun, which is a person who changes his or her beliefs. So they are pronounced a little bit differently, sometimes depending on the part of speech. The second word is plague, which is a verb, to pester or harass constantly. Fans plague famous athletes with requests for autographs. 2, to cause severe distress or affliction. The next meaning of the word plague is a noun. It's a widespread disaster, an epidemic disease that is often fatal. So each definition is numbered. So each one is one definition, 2, 3, 4, all separate definitions. So a glossary is an alphabetical list of special words used in a book. So like if you look at a textbook, for example, if you go to the back, there's something called a glossary. So what that is it's a dictionary, but it just only uses the words that are used in the book. So like if a word, like see these words are in bold here, if we had a glossary in this packet, it would have all the definitions of these bolded words in the back. And it would look just like a dictionary, it's just a shorter dictionary. So let's take a look at this guided practice here on the bottom of page 29. Then you'll do 30 on your own. But it says, read the paragraph, use the entries above in your own dictionary to answer the questions about the underlined words and write your answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull up dictionary.com. And we'll get that ready so that we can use that. But it says, hint, identify how a word is used in a sentence before you use the dictionary. If the word is used as a verb, read the definitions given for a verb. After you choose a definition, use context to see if the definition you chose makes sense. Okay, so it says, in the early 1900s, farmers in the United States began to convert millions of acres of prairie grasslands into wheat fields. During the 1930s, a severe drought plagued the Great Plains. Intolerant of the droughts, crops failed and exposed the dry topsoil to the elements. That enabled high winds to lift the dusty soil into the air and create vast dust storms. So which definition helps you to understand the meaning of the word convert as used in the paragraph? Well, first, is convert being used as a noun or a verb here? If they began to is a linking verb, so we know that this is going to be a verb here because people are doing something. The farmers are converting something. So if we go up here, we know we need to look for words that follow verb. So we know that the fourth definition is not going to be our definition because that's a noun. We're looking for a definition that has to do with it being a verb. So it says, 1, to change the use or function of something, to exchange one thing for something of equal value, or to change one's beliefs. Are they trying to change the beliefs of the acres of grasslands? No. Are they trying to exchange the grasslands? No. They're trying to change them, right? They're trying to change the grasslands into wheat fields. So it's going to be definition 1. So which part of speech is the word convert? Well, we already said that it's a verb, right? Because we are doing something. We're converting something. I'm having issues with my keyboard here. Verb. There we go. Which definition helps you understand plagued? So during the 1930s, a severe drought plagued the Great Plains. Well, is plague a noun or a verb here? Again, it's a verb. If it's ending in ed, it's usually going to be a verb, unless it's a verbal and it's being used as like a gerund. But here it is being used as a verb. So we know that it's going to be either the first or second definition, not the third or the fourth, because the first and second are verbs. So is it to pester or harass, or to cause severe distress or affliction? So if it had a severe drought happened, is that pestering or harassing something? No, it's going to be our second definition because it's causing distress. So we're going to say definition 2. Now it says, use your own dictionary to find the meaning and parts of speech of the words intolerant, exposed, elements, and enabled as used in the paragraphs. I'm just going to write them over here. So the first one we're going to look at is intolerant. So first, let's look and see what part of speech is the word intolerant. So our part of speech of the word intolerant here is an adjective because it's a descriptive word. So like I said, the abbreviation for that is ADJ. So intolerant is describing how they are towards the drought, how the crops are towards the drought. So if they're intolerant of the drought, the crops failed in the topsoil, or the dry topsoil to the elements. So let's look at the possible definitions for intolerant. So not tolerating or respecting beliefs, opinions, usage, manners, etc. So does this have anything to do with opinions or beliefs? No. Unable or willing to tolerate or endure. Well, if you look at the sentence for this, it says intolerant of very hot weather. Well, that's kind of what's happening with the drought here, right? Because it's intolerant of the droughts. The plants can't handle it. So unable to endure would be our definition here. So unable to endure. The second word we're looking for the definition of is exposed. So the part of speech we're looking at here, as we could see there, was an adjective. If we look at the definition, it says, left or being without shelter, laid open to view, or susceptible to attack, or vulnerable. Well, if we look here, it's being exposing it to the elements. So I would say that it's being left without shelter or protection. So exposed, left without shelter. 3 is going to be elements. Elements is a noun here because the elements are objects or ideas that they are being left exposed to. So elements. Again, here we see noun. So a component or constituent of a whole or one parts to a whole that may be resolved by analysis. Chemistry, one of the class substances. A natural habitat, sphere, or activity. Do any of these fit? No, because we're not talking about parts to a whole. We're not talking about science-related elements with chemistry. We're not talking about natural habitats. Down here we see elements with an S. This is just element. Elements with an S. Atmospheric agencies or forces. Weather. This is going to be our definition. So we would say forces of weather, we could say. Because they're talking about the drought and the dryness. Those are the elements, the weather elements. 4 is enabled. What is enabled? Let's find out. Enabled. Enabled is always a verb. So it says to make able, give power, to make possible or easy, or to make ready. Well, let's read our sentence using it here. It says, that enabled high winds to lift the dusty soil into the air. So I would say it made it possible. Okay? So we know that enabled is a verb, which means to make possible. So if you guys don't have access to a dictionary or can't get on to dictionary.com, that's completely okay, because if you go to page 30 here, it gives you the dictionary entries already, right up here, here, and here, so you don't have to look up any of your own definitions. So you're just going to answer the questions using those dictionary entries. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me during office hours today. Don't forget that we do have school on Monday and Tuesday next week, and then we're done. So just reach out to me if you guys need anything.